All right, guys. Let everybody get in and we'll try out Jean's project idea. And then we may jelly print or something. I don't really have anything planned. I just found some old canvases that we can try out at various different issues. This one was a pour that I have another one just like it, and I just don't really care for it. And I thought about using it, but it's got some bumps on it. So I'm not sure about that in the washi. This is an old round canvas that I found. I was going to do something and never got there. This is a piece of canvas board I was using as a palette. And it, again, it's got a buildup on it, so I don't think it'll be a good candidate. This was a lighthouse I started and just never finished. This might be the best one to do, unless I finish the lighthouse, which is another possibility. Not today, but... Hi, Kat. Hi, Jillian. Let's try this one and see how it does. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to paint it some bright colors. I'm going to start with some white so those colors can pop. And then while it's wet, we'll blend in. I'm just grabbing some brights. Oh, that's not what I want. That's what I want. Grab a brush. You know, those were just primary elements pigments, probably, but you have to buy their pouring medium. That's, but are you talking about the one where she put the, it's Anne-Marie Ritterhoff. Because I'm pretty sure what you're, the one with the shell, Eileen? If she did anything with pigments, it was Anne-Marie Ritterhoff, and you have to buy, it's Leslie Olms. It's the primary elements pigments that Patty uses by Leslie. Yeah, you have to use them with, yeah, you can use pigments in resin if you want to deal with resin. I mean, they can do some really neat stuff with some of that resin and get those layers. I mean, I've even seen Mel D does a resin coat and then she pours. Like she does a base coat, puts a coat of resin, and then she does some layers of paint. And it looks like it's floating because it's trapped between layers of resin. The other thing that Leslie has done that's really neat is she has put primary elements on deli paper and put it on a canvas that had a base coat. And excuse me. Then she adds layers on top of that too. Yeah, but if they're primary elements, you have to use the one from them. Now, some people just use the other pigments in resin too. Like I said, I'm not, I mean, like I like the results, but my experience with resin is, this will get brighter. This is just, kind of where I want it to go begin with. Yeah, there's lots of people doing, they don't usually video very much of it because it's hard. I think it's hard to video the resin aspect because I think it's hard to do inside. There's people that use alcohol and inks. There's all kinds of stuff that people do. Okay, I'm going to clean that. I'll give that a little bit of time to dry. And we'll do some stencils stuff. Probably using some of the same colors. Okay. Choose that stencil. Trying to get smaller stencils. Since it's a small canvas. All right, let's just try this. Hi, Shauna. Hi, Dot. That's a good idea, Eileen. Okay. All right, I'm going to go with the magenta and a little bit of red. Go back to some of this PBO in the orange. And I'll put it next to the red because I'm probably going to mix some red in with that. Let's start with that. All right, and I'm going to use this right here. Over the yellow. And I'm using the magenta and the red. Okay, that's pretty. Let's put more on the side here. And this side. And let's flip it. And there's some part we didn't paint with the brush, so let's just put some of this pink in there. Okay. Well, that's all the yellow covered. Let's switch stencils. And let's use this one. And add a little red to this orange. Good color choice, but it's not really that different. Try to use it wherever the peach is. Okay, let's get some blue out because we're going to have to go darker in some areas. So I'm going to go with some metallic blue. Let's just use chevrons. Okay, and I'm going to carry that across that canvas. And over. All right, and then let's add some lime green PBO. Different stencil. I might grab some of that blue. To mix in with that too. those over here. And this is all going to get covered up, so. Okay, I think we've painted the whole thing. Let's let that dry for a minute, and let's use up some of these paints on something. We'll try this one with the texture and a brush and not worry about a pattern. Ooh, can we say ugly or what? Trying to leave it really thick where it doesn't mix and make a whole lot of mud. We'll just let that dry. Trying to set it. Okay, guys, that was not good. It just fell on the floor, upside down. Not a lot of damage to it. I'm gonna get that. Okay, I think all the extra texture on there, the bumps kept it from really hitting flat to the ground. Okay. Rid of the stencils on that. Yeah, added texture. Probably some cat hair. Probably some Tay-Tay DNA. All right, let's dry those. Real fast. Heat gun. All right, we'll let that dry a little more. And this one we can work with. All right, so I've got the thin washi that was the mistake, and I've got some regular washi. Okay. Okay, that's down that side. That's down. And I'm bringing that washi over the back edges. Okay. Let's use the skinny washi. Okay, let's put that. Okay, because this stuff is like has no real use, I'm just going to keep wrapping it like a present, even though I'm wasting washi. Because this is, like I said, waste for me. I think it'll get more random. Okay, let's start another one. And then let's go. Need something diagonally this way. I'm going to switch to another washi. A skinny one still. When I can get started. There we go. Okay. That's probably enough washing on that. And that'll be easy to pull the skinny stuff off because I have it in the back. Okay, so let's let that sit. Let's do. I don't think I want to do a crisscross pattern. I'm thinking a vertical stripe with different widths tape and using blue painter's tape. There's a wet spot over here I'm trying to avoid right now. Let me hit this with the dryer real fast. And then we'll put 2 skinny ones in here. And we'll call this one done. Okay, let's get rid of the washi. I'm just going to roll that over so the edges on the one side, and then I'll decide what to do. All right, black paint. I'm just going to use flat craft paint. So let's come back to this one. I'm going to, it is wanting to pop off, Jean. Like lift. But again, I have some texture that they wouldn't have necessarily. All right, and I'm going to brush, when possible, with the direction of the washi tape. And like I said, this is a lumpy bumpy canvas from the previous pour. A brand new canvas would be regular. And would stick a little better. I might get some bleed on this, but we can probably also pull it when it's wet instead of waiting till it's dry. Okay, hold it up. Again, I'm making sure that washi's kind of down before I start. Okay, last side. Okay, we're gonna look for places where the black's not solid enough. Okay, let's scoot that one aside, let it dry just a little bit, and let's go to this one. We'll start with this side first. Okay. Push these other sides down. Again, this has got a lot of texture on it, so. All right, just about done. Again, I'm looking for places where the black didn't cover. Potentially. Get this side. Not that that really would matter because it's got to go in a frame. Well, because it doesn't have to. Okay, let's put that in the. All right, let's go ahead and I'm just going to cut these. And just start grabbing and pulling. I'm just trying to get some of the ones from the side up. Now I did get more bleed with the washi. I'm looking for random pieces of washi. Like right here. And I don't know whether it'd be better to try to lift the black. Or just eliminate the black. I think eliminate the black is all you're going to be able to do. So I will say that the washi does lift and bleed under. But it's kind of a cool background. I don't even mind some of the stops and starts. I'll probably put something on it, like a bird or something. Okay, let's pull the other one off. And again, remember my canvas wasn't perfectly smooth either. And that affected, like it had texture bumps. Do that washi. I had a lot of bleed. But again, I had lumpy, bumpy canvases. But I like the stripes a lot better. Well, I mean, if I were going to do this again, I would just use the skinny washi. But it works, Jean. My only thing is you got to make sure that the washi is really sticking down. I mean, you can't glue it, but you got to make sure that it's really making contact with that surface. And the more you can brush in the direction of the washi instead of against the washi, the less bleed you'll have. And remember, mine weren't perfectly smooth. I've done that. I've actually cut stuff with contact paper and painted and then put that down. I mean, any kind of stickers or sticker paper. Hi, Sophia. But it definitely works, Jean. And again, remember, mine wasn't smooth. You know, mine had lumps and bumps. Both canvases. I don't know if can you see? This canvas had bumps. Now, I don't think I'm going to take the time to try to straighten up the black or anything or like that, but I think I will probably add something on top of it. I'm thinking I might do like a little bird and set the bird on like this, like a branch, or, you know, I'm not sure. Also wasn't wild about my underpainting on this one. I like the first layer. I don't like when I went to the stencils. But you could do the same thing with a piece of paper in reality. All right, let me clean up that. Let me start something different. I guess we can jelly print. I wanted to try what Shauna showed us. I don't want to use my big jelly plate. Of course, my jelly plate is dirty. A couple things I wanted to try. Okay. I don't have a different bottle, so this is all I have. So this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to put a little bit of Mod Podge and brayer that on there. And it's got some water, which is fine. That's what I want it wet. Is what I want. Okay. Then I thought might try some magicals. All right, let's brayer that. Okay, that's the Ramblin' Rose Pink. This is a I'm not going to brayer that. That's a Canna Lily Burnt Orange. All right, and I'm going to try a little bit of a hydrangea blue in a few places. All right, let's see what we get. Ooh, the brayer is pretty. Need paper first of all. Let's take the brayer and brayer that off on some matte paper. Let's give it one final rub. I just kind of smack and drag, kind of. And let's let that dry for a second. Let's just roll that back out a little. And let's go with that, more of that blue. I'm going to brayer that. All right, and then let's try a green. This green has some blue in it. It's shamrock green. All right, I want to give it a light mist of water again, just to make sure there's enough water there. Okay, do we let that sit and now put some paint on it? Actually, let's pull. And then let's do a cleanup print with some traditional paint. Oh, see, that's pretty. Let's repeat. Okay, let's go ahead and brayer some regular white paint and see if we can pick up. No, I take that back. Let's sprinkle more stuff and then brayer white. Okay, so there's some magicals just on the plate. And here's some white paint. And I don't have a lot because I'm going to do a cleanup. I think this one will come out more solid and make a good background paper. Cleaning my brayer off. I think I'm actually going to even brayer this paper. That first one I did, and see if it can get a little more blendy, help it blot it too. Okay, you can't leave your paper on too long because it will get stuck. And it kind of dries your plate out with the Mod Podge. But I have this dry paint on here too. So that's a pretty one that we can add colors to. This one I'm going to leave alone. This one I want to leave alone. Yeah, I think I dissolved all the powder. Because it was pretty wet. Okay, so let's try. I need some more. I'm going to put a little bit of gel medium. Not as much as last time. I need to put some in a pour bottle, like a dish soap bottle. Okay, let's go. No. Trying to find things. This is a gold, like from the Christmas set. Okay, I'm gonna go with that gold. There's probably still some of that teal on there. I'm gonna go with a lime green. Okay, now I'm gonna give this a little bit of a squirt to let it bead up. There's water on it just to make it bead. And let's put it on this. Okay, I just added some green to that. And let's go with some let's go with an orange. Hogwarts orange. And I'm going to brayer just a little bit right in here. Try not to mix the colors necessarily. I may have a little mix. I'll break up some of those bigger areas. I'm going to also blot the table. That. That will dry real pretty when it dries. I'm just going to the areas where I see color and picking up a little more. Glazing, well, I don't have a lot of glazing. We have a little bit we can try. How about try this? This is an extender. That's an extender, like a paint extender. Let's try Cattail Copper Brown. It's one of the colors you said was a new shaker. That's not new. New color. And let's put the Autumn Maple Crimson. That's also in that set that you said that was new. Shauna, that was not a new color. And we'll throw in a little Time Travel Teal, which was also in that set. So that's 3 of the colors in the shakers. Yeah, they're new in shaker form. But now some of the colors I had not heard of, but that doesn't mean anything because if they were flats, I might not have known about them, or in a set. There's 3 sets I'm ordering that I have never had. Now that may have the wrong lid on it too. Okay, I'm gonna give that just a little bit of squirt of water in just a couple places. And let's do this print, and then let's do a white again and see if there's anything left on there. Now, I won't use this as an entirety, but I just like those dots. There's still mica powder on here. So let's do a layer of white and do a cleanup. Let's see if we can pull up. Look how pretty my brayer is. It's got mica powder all over it. Okay, most of the green on here kind of faded in. The extender was a little wet. Beat it up a little more. This did get more of that old paint off. So it's kind of grayed out. Very muted. Definitely needs another color on top of it, because the old paint, yeah, that's my goal. Is these are the three sets I'm ordering are shimmers that I don't have, and I don't have I have almost all the shimmers. Okay, I have some gorgeous stuff on the outside that I don't want to lose. So let's just take a napkin back. I'm going to clean up some of the overspray. And I'll just keep putting that on this napkin. And I'll just, oh, that tore. But it'll work. All right, let's keep digging. Oh, I bet it's over here. Here is the glazing medium. I don't have a lot of it. So let's roll that out. But it rolls out better. It's not as wet as the Mod Podge or the extender. Okay, and let's put Sweet Violet Purple. Now, this probably would work better with the shakers because you could get more an even distribution of the drops and powders, not as heavy in some areas. Okay, I am going to give it a and I want to put that on here. And I'm going to do it a couple times so I can get a more random pattern. Okay, and let's let this is the extender. I'm just going to use some of that extender. There's still quite a bit of this pigment on here. And let's add something else. Let's add a little more of that in that one area. And let's go with Tahitian poppy teal. Okay, and then let's add the gold to that. And I'm gonna pull back and just give that a light mist. Let's give it another little mist in a few areas. I'm going to add some to this. That's finally getting some depth. Try one more. It's a little easier where the paper's dry. So I like that little bit of purple and stuff in there. And there's some, I'm gonna let that one sit and call it done. This one came out real pretty. And the gold is little pops of gold shimmer. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Let's go ahead and add the glazing medium. Get any more out. I need to put that on my list to buy. We'll put the glazing medium on there. And let's put a little more, let's sprinkle some more of that gold. I had another gold that I also liked, which was Yellow Rose of Texas, but I'm pretty sure that there's none of that left because we made it into a pan. Some of these I just don't have that much left of because I've used them. Yeah, I don't buy Goldens. It's too expensive for my budget. I actually like the Deco Arts Traditions. And that I get for free. Okay, that did blend some more of that, but when it dries, and it added some more gold. So let's let that dry and I'll show it to you in a minute. This is a small bottle because it was from a sample of Traditions. That's why. This was a set, a sample set. But when I get it, I usually get it all in this size. But I like the Traditions. It's between a craft paint and a heavy body. So it falls between like this level and Americana. Okay, that's just pretty what's there. I'm kind of wondering if we should add one more color to it. Let's put some of the extender and brayer that and add the pink back in. In fact, I need to order and try their new heavy body acrylic that they have. I haven't gotten any of that in the tube yet. Okay, let's just put that straight to paper with the extender and see what we can get. And then we'll do a cleanup with white. That's really light colored, but it's really, when it dries, this gray part is wet. So when it dries, these will turn out slightly different. I'm going to move this real quick. I'm going to clean up some of the overspray. Okay, we'll let that dry. I think it needs a little more teal or a purple. Let's try this, which is Potion Purple. I just sprayed some water on there in areas. Okay, and I'm going to brayer that in the background. Okay, and then I'm going to let that kind of do its thing. This is my brayer paper. And I'm just about done with it and calling it done. Okay. Let's just see what we can lift off that's super wet right in here. Okay, I like that. Let that dry. All right, let's add white paint and see if we can get a cleanup. All right, then I'm going to move on and we'll try something different. I will have to get a different container for the magicals because that one's going to be too small. It's sticking, so I don't want to tear the paper. There's still old paint up at the top too. It's very muted. Needs a cut. It needs a layer. All right, so let's go over what we got with just the magicals. I'll set that there. Okay, so that's a cleanup print. This was several layers. This was a cleanup print with some more layers. Just picked up several layers. This will be pretty, like I said, and it's still got wet spots. So those areas that you see that are gray, those are actually wet still. Here's one. Yeah, the brayer paper comes out pretty. This is probably my least favorite. The first one we did, too much of the Mod Podge, too wet, too liberal of an amount. This is probably my favorite, which was like the second one we did. This was several layers. And this is several layers too. And then that's the brayer paper. But you can see the mica shimmer even on the brayer paper. So those are all keepers. Let me put the... Okay, the other thing I thought we'd try is... I thought we'd try some of Shauna's. I don't have the same stuff that Shauna does. I have the Deco Arts brand. But let's see. I've got a brass, espresso, black, turquoise, copper, coral, emerald, lime, and a blue. So I thought we'd try mixing them, and I want to put them on napkin. Okay, let's get some stencils that... Just grabbing some different stencils to use. With them. This should be enough here to try. Okay, And then, but I'm gonna try mixing it on the actual plate. That's probably way too much. Let's do this. Let's see what we can get. Just trying to soften it right. Okay, and I'm going to need another brayer paper. Let me move those. There's a spot in the middle of my plate. Okay, this one. Something stuck to the stencil like a piece of paper. And this is a double layer. The other layer I'll use, but I like to start with them as double a lot of times. That is pretty. Now what I'm hoping is when it dries, that it won't reactivate. That's what I'm curious about. Okay, take that off. Okay, let's get a piece of matte paper to brayer on. And let's get this on a piece of regular paper. We'll probably leave some of that on there, I'm guessing. Okay, I got a pretty print, but that's all still on there really well. So let's add. Now this is where I probably don't want to mix it on the plate. I'm thinking this black shimmer. No. Let's try just a traditional. I don't have a silver. I wish I had a silver. How do I not have a silver in this? Let's just do a cleanup. With paper. Okay. We'll see. These, like I said, these are different. And when I've used it to burnish something on a painting, it has reactivated. That's pretty. It's still got that shimmer. All right, let's try. We can go ahead and mix on the plate again. Let's try this iced. Some of this is older, so it's definitely thicker. And at some point, I'll have to use another. And this is a plastic palette knife. Okay, let's roll that out. We'll probably pick up some of that coral with it. Let's use some of this. This. And this, because this will all get torn up. I won't use it the way I use it. It won't be used as a whole piece usually. Okay, nothing on the napkin. Let's give it a little squirt of water here. It might be too dry. The Deco Arts what? Gesso? It's in their mixed media line, which not all of, like Mike's and Hobby Lobby doesn't carry all that. Look, that may just be dried on my plate, solid as can be. Okay, let's try some extender. We're just experimenting here. See if we can soften up some of that. This is not working. But like I said, some of this is older. Let's just try a big stencil that'll cover all of it. Actually, I want that dirty side down. And let's try brayering. The coral one was brand new. See, that lifted up very little of it. It did leave a pattern in it. So let's, yeah, it'll, oh, I'm not worried about it coming off. I'll take it and wash it in the sink if nothing else. Plus my plate's really old. and has issues anyways, to be honest. This is my first jelly plate, and it's 4 or 5 years old, and it has what? It has issues. All right, let's try white paint. And see if we get anything that looks like. It might just be solid. If we don't see much pattern and it's solid, we'll just add to it. This is a regular acrylic. It's just not a brand you know. It is a regular acrylic. It got it. Some of that peach came off too. So it has kind of almost a rose gold. Oh, yeah, that's the only white I have right. Well, I have Master's Touch, but that's in a ginormous bottle. I like this white because it's actually really opaque. I have actually another white, but it's just not opaque. All right, let's try cleaning it before we go on. And try to either that or we can switch to the different plate. Part of the problem is some of this older paint. It's really tacky on these corners and stuff over here. Trying to get these edges here a little bit. All right, and we're going to switch gears here because I don't care. It's not. Okay. I'll try one more. I'll try the turquoise. And let's try the extender. See, it sits down on that plate and does not want to lift. So this just doesn't work the same as what Shauna has. Baby oil works good. All right, let's just put this on here. I'm on the brayer paper. I'll move it in just a second where you can see it. It doesn't even want to brayer out. It just wants to gunk up. It doesn't want to lift up at all. You can see where it just wants to gunk up over here even. So let's get rid of that. It's supposed to be like you put it on your finger and you blend it. So it may be a total different mixture than the other brand. That's okay. We have something else to try. I'm going to let that smear out there and stay for a minute. Let's try some of these Sargent Art metallics, because really what I was wanting was some metallics. Okay. On napkins. Okay, this is a green gold. Okay, let's try this stencil and that stencil. And we'll put the first layer on napkin, and then we'll put the second layer, we'll use paint and pick it up with paper. Okay, it's there, but it's really light. Did not pick up that well. I think I need to, I think I should clean the plate with some baby oil too. Let's take just some turquoise. These are pretty liquid, but like I said, my plate's really sticky. So it could be that I just need to condition my plate. which we're going to try in just a minute. We're going to put some baby oil on it. Now that is light on here too. Could be they just don't have a lot of pigment. Oh, good, Jean. While we have this turquoise out, let's do this because it's a pretty color. This is the Dinah Wakely that I got at Hobby Lobby. Let's try that one. A little of that. Actually, I want to move those. And let's try this on a napkin. Just regular paint and see what we get. And let's try doing a pickup with that, with one of these metals on paper. Let's try a copper. That's paint off the stencil. Okay. Put that on there. We'll put the pod back on. We'll try this and then we'll clean the plate with some baby oil. And we'll try the Sargent Art Metallics again. Who has pretty colors? Oh, the Dinah Wakely, some of them. I like the midnight color. I don't have any of it. Okay. That's a grungy sort of print. Make a good building. It looks like patinaed copper. Okay, let's see if we can't get this a little cleaner before we. But everything's sticking to the plate real bad, I think. Gummy. Yeah, this is the only Sargent Art I have is these metallics. And I actually got them to use in a pour and just have not used them. That pretty much cleaned it. That doesn't look like a much, but you could add some to it. All right, let's get the baby oil out. Mineral oil, baby oil, almond oil, those are any of those. Mineral oil is what's in your plate. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was mineral oil. Like if you leave your plate laying on your craft mat, you'll see like a stain. Okay, let's try. I'm just going to blot that with brayer paper. And some water. Okay, let's try the silver. Will work pretty fast, or attempt to work fast. That on there. Put that on there. Throw some of that there. And a couple dots. Let's try a napkin real fast and see if we can pick anything up on the napkin. It picked up better. It's not very pigmented. And let's see if we can add this. To this paper. Yeah, those will go in pours, or I wouldn't, they might work if you were using them like on a canvas to paint. Maybe they don't seem, and they weren't expensive. Well, that's a pretty print with the silver. All right, let's take bronze and let's take silver, if I can find it. Because that's what Patty makes. Now that's a little green, more green, I think, than her rose gold bronze. So I'm going to add just a little dash of copper. Not much. All right, so that's a bronze, a silver, and a little bit of a copper. Yeah, it's really too green, that bronze. Trying to get, like, could you get a rose gold? Have a pretty sterling gun gray, maybe? Okay. I have a different bronze, I think. I'll try again in a minute. It's like a champagne color. Yeah, it's definitely that bronze is too green. Let's try this bronze. Let's get this off the plate. Well, we'll pick it up with that turquoise. Because you can't go wrong with turquoise. Just saying. Yeah, I have a more red bronze that I'm going to try. It's by the Reeves. It's a Reeves silver and a Reeves bronze. I'll show you in just a second. Okay, pick some of this up, but it didn't pick all of it up. Probably had a little too much turquoise. All right, so let's leave that. Okay, so this time it's a Reeves brand of bronze, and it's got more red in it. All right, and the silver. This might do it. I think I need more silver. I think I think it's pretty close. I like those Reeves metallics. Mine are getting a little thick because they're older. a napkin first. That is pretty close. And you can get this set of 4 at, I got them at Joann's. They were $14.95, and I got used a coupon. So I paid like $7, $7. They have a neon set and they have that metallic set. Okay. Let's pick that up with something different. I'm thinking of blue. Man, that made my ears ring. That has some turquoise. It doesn't look as rose gold. On the blue as it did on the napkin. Let's try it again because there's no reason not to have some napkins with rose gold. Excuse me. And then we'll put a white pickup. I think that'll be a better judgment. Okay. We use chevrons, this stencil, a row of those, and a couple of those. Brayer that off. Yeah, that worked pretty good. This little bit right here didn't come off. That's better. All right, we'll take that off. I've got stencils laying everywhere. Get rid of those. All right. Bought out of paper. I need to put this one in a pour because it's a really pretty. It's a bronze, but it's really got a green to it. That with a dark green. I used one of Jones, but most of Jones are bigger than what I want to use right now. I'm trying to get ones that are a little smaller scale for the napkins. So that's why I like the little 6x6s. That kind of came out pretty. There's places where the silver still shows through. It's kind of a sterling. All right. Yeah, I use that blue in the pours quite a bit. The blue metallic and the turquoise metallic's gone. I used all of it, I think. We'll do a little of that ice blue. I've used the blue and the green and the turquoise. The green is almost gone. The turquoise is just about gone. I had two of the blue, so I'm still going on the blue. Okay, so let's do that. And we'll do this. Okay, this stencil I love, but you have to put pressure to get a good. And that was a single layer of napkin. Actually, there's paint up here. And paint down here for these edges where it's too narrow. And that covers the whole napkin for the most part. And I don't ever use these in their entirety. I tear them up. I might be able to get a good print. Yeah, that gave me a pretty good print. And then we'll still have a cleanup here. Let's try lime green. I'll let that dry just a little bit. Probably way too much paint. Okay, I'm gonna try something here. I've got a lot of paint. I'm just gonna roll it. No, that did not. I caught it. It was almost worked. I was trying to just roll off gently on my brayer, on my napkin, and I caught it, but I didn't tear it. Okay, put paper on that. So I keep catching it in it because it gets so wet. But I haven't torn it. If it were not a single layer, I probably would have worked better. But that just puts some paint on there. It'll dry and I'll add another layer later. Or use it like it is. They posted pictures, like a collage. Okay, that did not, but still, it picked up in some places and some places it didn't. It's a good first layer, but it needs more added to it. Let's add a stencil. Let's just add copper to this. And we'll do a copper napkin. I'm just about jelly printed out. Okay, let's add copper to this. And we'll do a copper napkin. Okay, and let's do this stencil here and maybe this stencil there. And put that on there. And I think I'm going to take this. Okay, we need a dry napkin. All right, let me brayer this on the paper. Picked up some. Again, I'll let it dry. And there's paint coming off the stencils today. It must be time for a Murphy's oil bath. All right, so we got a little bit of that green, a little bit of blue, some copper. I'm wondering about picking it up with black. Might be too dark. Yeah, you could see crusty bits definitely coming off the stencil. Could use white. Thought about silver. I don't know. There's a little bit of blue. There's a little bit of lime green. There's copper. I'm afraid if we pick it up with black, it may not show up. But let's just try the black. Titan Buff. I know I have some. I mean, probably a little more than that. Oh, and this is the last piece of paper. This is pretty good brayer paper. Got bits on both sides. So I'm going to call it done and add it to the pile. I'm assuming you're not talking to me, Dot. You're talking to them about the pewter class that they did. The embossing, the metal, or... Oh, this turned out really grungy, pretty. But my plate is dirty again on the edges. So that's real pretty. I don't know if we can get any of this up. Red would have been a good choice too. Let's try. Oh, that's pink. It's not the red. I like that pink too. I like the red better. Let's try a little red and magenta. Okay, and let's do a super simple stencil. Put it on that napkin. Okay, and then let's take let that dry just a bit. I'm gonna try some turquoise. And let's take this clean brayer paper. And we'll brayer off paint on this side. And this is kind of damp paper from earlier. So I'm hoping it'll maybe pick up pretty good. You got some of it. All right, now let's try the Titan Buff. And put it right next to it again. Where are those edges? It did pick up some of those edges. It's actually pretty. I'm just trying to get some of these areas. Yeah, it turned, and it's got some of that copper. This may be one of my favorite ones of the day. All right, let's move that. And take it to the sink later. These will get cut apart because they won't. So we got those two. This one, not Wildabot. It needs something else added to it. Red napkin. And I'll separate. There's other napkins in there. Pull out. Grungy one. Brayer paper. Again, this I'll probably cut and store in half. And I like to use it. I like that little bit of text and a little bit of color. And I'll have choices on which side. Yeah, I like grunge too. All right, another napkin, this time in blue metallic. The other part of that, the blue metallic. The rose gold. You can see some of the silver, but some of it really does have a rose gold. And I think we got really close to Patty's rose gold here. And that was the Reeves bronze and silver. Okay, there's the rose gold napkin. The rose gold with the blue, and there's a little bit of turquoise in there. Another rose gold napkin. Turquoise with some rose gold, probably. The first attempt at rose gold was too greenish, and it came out more like a champagne. It's still very pretty. silver and green and white. A silver, it's very faint, but once you collage it on something, that metallic will show up. Copper and turquoise. This one came out real pretty. Looks like patinaed copper. Just a turquoise napkin. The turquoise with a really light green gold pattern on it. The green gold on a napkin with a little bit of turquoise. Again, it's really light, but if you were working with something with more pastels, it'd be perfect. Our metallic luster paste stuff, and this was the espresso with some coral. And here's just a little bit of the espresso. It doesn't seem to be moving. This is the coral. Now this one came out real pretty, but it was that new container. It's not old, so it was more pliable. That's the other pull of that. Here's the napkin with that on it. Here's the brayer paper with the magicals. Let's cut. The back side is still clean on these. Some of these magicals are still damp. And I don't think you can see the colors like on the camera. You can't see the mica like you can in person. That there's just like a turquoise and a coral. Every once in a while, if I rock it in the camera, you can see it probably. You see that gold over there in the right here? Right here. You can sort of see that shimmer. All right. This one came out really pretty. This one I don't care for as much, but that's the one that has too much of the Mod Podge, which just got too wet. But it could have some, and I don't, because of the blue, it needs some help. But if you put something on top of it, it could be pretty. Some greens and orange. Some red and blue. Purpley turquoise. That one could use something on top of it too. This one's more of a turquoise and a green. This one needs something on top of it. So, I mean, it could be as, you know, just simple as adding a layer of paint to them. Like, just real quick, we'll try. I'll take some of that blue metallic and I'll take a big stencil just so I don't have to mess with a bunch of little stencils. And we'll put that on there. Now let's put this. See if we get anything on this one. So it's grungy, but that helped push the pink in the background and bring the blue. So that's not too bad. You know, that cut up and used in a collage could be really pretty. So that kind of helped it, just giving it a layer of paint. All right. That is it for me. Hide the pink. Did you call it oink, Jean? On purpose? Or is that just a... I actually almost think a layer of white through a stencil or a pearl might be pretty too. So that was some little exploration, some things that worked, some things that didn't work. Yeah, I was teasing you. I'll give that on the edges at least a little bit before I put it away. I like the magicals on them, though you could get the same effect using your table and water, you know, just dropping powder and spraying. Kathy Berg, I think, was the one that had suggested trying some of the magicals on the jelly plate, but I don't know how she used them on the jelly plate. I don't have distressed ink pads, so I could do what Jen did the other night, which was so pretty, but I got sort of the same results. But I almost really think I needed new 8x8. Like, I think they have maybe a shelf life. Good job, Jean. I know she'll appreciate that. I think I need to soak my brayer too, because I have some bumps and lumps on it. But it's almost time to go back to school, so I guess we can take the time to clean up some stuff. What do you think? Yeah, I like the magicals on the plate. Some of the mica stick, but I almost think I should try it on one of my other plates. So Yeah, I have Monday and Tuesday off. Then I go back Wednesday. Oh, 2 hours and 40 minutes. That wasn't longer than I thought. I just didn't have anything that the jelly printing was good because it was kind of mindless and you can never have too much collage paper, though I probably do. I need to, I know what we'll do while you're here. I need to decide ideas. Okay, let me get something to write with. I have a Post-it note. All right, I'm going to show you a canvas. And then let's brainstorm some potential things that could go on it. On this one, I thought about a bird because it kind of reminded me of foliage. Gotta be something that blends but stands out. I mean, does anybody have any other ideas? I mean, you could do a mermaid. Hi, Jean. No ideas. All right, so I'll stick that in that one. We'll show you the next one. Now, the answer could be, oh, an octopus. On this one? Or on this one? What about doing an octopus on this one and blacking out and making the octopus the pour? An octopus for the first one. So on this one, I did have the heron idea. And then what about jellyfish in white? I'm trying to think of something different. Because you could do some shimmery white. Some of that could, like, almost iridescent. They could still, because they're see-through, so you wouldn't lose the whole pour. I'm kind of liking that idea for this one. Okay. This ugly one. I did have a turtle on it, and the turtle did look good. It looks like a pond. What are jellyfish? Yeah, I could cover it up. I could pour over it. I just did koi fish. I could do fish on this. Somebody wants me to do like a black googly eye fish. I don't like the colors. But Bob does. But I might do that blackfish. That there was somebody that wanted me to do a blackfish that might show up on there. Okay. We can think of stuff besides. Yeah, I don't care for it either. I just don't like the colors. I don't think I like the Titan buff. To me, it's 80s. Mermaid again on this one because I did a mermaid on that similar one. A rabbit might be cute on here. Not one of my hares, but like a lamb. Like something soft or baby, like a lamb or a bunny. And I don't mean one of my long-eyed lashes bunny. Well, some of them you like and some of them you don't like. I mean, that's why you pour over some of them. This one I like. This one I don't like. This one I like. This one I'm sort of about. Polar bear. Hi, Lena. A polar bear, you mean on like this one? Yeah. Llama. Oh, somebody wanted me to do a pig with flowers in their hair. That might be good on here because the pig would be pink, but the flowers would be pops of color. All right, this is the last one. Pig could go on this one too. Like a pig with flowers. I don't know if she wants a canvas or she wants like paper. She didn't tell me. She just wants a pig with like a wreath of flowers. I like the colors in this one. This one could be just leave it alone. Also, almost think a mermaid might go pretty on here. That's why I haven't done anything with them because I'm indecisive. Yeah, it's very pink. But I'm telling you, somebody will like it because it's very pink. There's pops of turquoise in there. There's good cells and veins. It's very girly. The blackfish on this one. a black fish or a black bird, maybe. Something black. Maybe a transfer where you see through the transfer, like you do the paper with the gel medium and you just see the black lines. Like some kind of image, and then you transfer just that black image. Now, some people also come in like and add paint to them and subtract, and I've not done a whole lot of that, but that's some ideas. Like I said, these are the ones I haven't done anything with because I'm indecisive. So we've decided this is a pour over because it's got good cells, but it's ugly. Let's pour over this one. Not now, today, but we'll pour over that. I don't have any other canvases to pour. I don't think. I have very little Floetrol too. But I have enough to do that because it's ugly. It turned out so pretty in the swipe where I have the peacock, but this one just turned out ugly. But it'll get completely covered up. So we'll just pour over that one. Try some other color combination. We can do that tomorrow. Pour over that. The other idea is to do some kind of collage with some of them too, possibly, to add some dictionary paint, paper or something maybe in places. Can break up some of the paint. Depends if you like the pour or not. Yeah, certain colors just don't do well. They go certain ways. It turned, in the other one, it turned out. You mean just paint a layer, like glaze a layer over this, Jean? We can try that. A little bit of glazing. Yeah, that's what she, oh shoot. Okay. I don't even know where that went. So you think we should put a little raw sienna? I don't think we're Well, I don't like it over the colors. I can tell you that right now, Jean. The problem is I don't like these colors. Yeah, I don't even like that. I don't like these colors. They're like the 80s called, and they want their burgundy and green back. Yeah, it does look like a wave. Now, the other possibility is black. In the corners. Instead of the Titan buff. That does look better with the black. I still say pour over it. Well, I'll just put my hand in that other side. That's better. But it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't change the real problem. Yeah, I think pour over it. The black helps, but you still have a lot of Titan Buff, and these colors are very yucky. It's that red. Red is a really hard color to pour with. I will tell you that. So I tell you what I am going to do is I'm going to paint. We're going to pour over it, but I'm going to do more of a negative pour. So I'm going to paint parts black. Because the corners are I don't know what colors we'll use yet, but the corners are hard to cover. Yeah, I'm going to pour over it with totally different colors. And I don't know if I'll use black in the pour or not, because black's another color that is difficult to use in pours. Yellow, red, black can, or in my opinion, some people use them and use them well. But with the color combinations that I tend to use, or the paints that I tend to use, they tend to take over. Has to do with whether they're opaque and transparent. No, I don't want to do a sink strainer pour. I've seen them. I just don't want to do one. Don't want to do the bottle pour either. I'm just not. I don't care for the pattern necessarily that they make. I like the cells. I don't like that flame stitch pattern. They are pretty when some people do them. I just don't care for the flame stitch pattern. You have to have a much bigger canvas usually than what I'm using. I like the tree rings. Again, you have to have the right size canvas to really get the tree ring to work, or I don't care for them either. This was a tree ring that went bad. But like I said, part of it is I don't like what I consider that flame stitch that was popular during the 80s and the 90s in upholstery. And that's sometimes what you end up getting line-wise. And I don't like a lot of lines like that. I've gotten where I like the pours that are just layers. I may do that on this one in a mini version that I did. That's an Anne-Marie Ritterhoff that Eileen is talking about with the shell. She did a pour with pigments and then she put a gel medium transfer. And the transfer the shell is nothing new that we haven't done, any of us. They just were doing it on pours. It wasn't anything different or new technique. It's exactly what we've done with the gel medium and the paper. And then you peel the paper off the back. But she used pigments in her pour. Probably the color art pigments. That's whose color art. That's whose pigments she was using. Yeah. Yeah, she does some of her pigments at the end. She has a tendency to do that. She'll do a pour, and then she likes to do dots with a pipette of the pigments. Because what happens is your metallics are more dense, so they sink to the bottom. So unless you have a lot of metallic in your pour, it's going to sink. But what Anne-Marie Ritterhoff does a lot of times is she uses the color art pigment with their medium that she's mixing it with, and she'll use it in a pipette, and she'll put drops. No, she's not using resin. I watched Anne-Marie Ritterhoff. She doesn't use resin. Very seldom. I've hardly ever seen her use resin. Usually when she uses the color art pigments. But now I have seen people use the pigments and the resin. But typically when you see her use that pipette, she's using the color art gel medium, or what medium, whatever that is that Leslie has, and the color art pigments. And once she gets the dots, then she'll take an X-Acto knife. Yeah, she's used several pigments before, but typically most of her videos you watch are color art pigments. Because Leslie sent her the whole line. And then she moved on to Vallejo and started using their stuff. Because she's selling their stuff. And she's moved from Amsterdam paints to Vallejo tradition, mostly, to Winsor and Newton is what she's using mostly now, I believe. Paints. But she worked with the Vallejo company. And those paints are hard to get over here. You can get them from Dick Blick. But if she used the resin art pigment, somebody probably sent them to her to try. But when she uses the pigments at the end, typically she puts them on with a pipette and then manipulates them with a dotting tool, a stylus, the end of a knife. But that's because the metallics will get lost. Yes, I heard you, Eileen, the first time. But most of her videos, when you see her using pigments, they're color art. That shell video is about a month or two old, probably. And those were on dry pours, of course. Oh, she brushed some pigment on top of that shell, didn't she? She painted or glazed a pigment in parts of the shell. That's what you're talking about. With a brush after it was dry. After she took the paper off. Yeah, on that one, but that's not her normal stick. That's not what she does normally at all. Yeah, I do remember that. She did the shell, and when she got the paper off, she went in and put pigments, probably with just a regular gel medium, and brushed on some shimmer that you could still see through. But she's not using the resin art pigments in a pour that I've seen. If you go in and watch a bunch of her videos and you see her adding pigments to the top of a wet pour, it's on a wet pour, then they're color art. Yeah, but that one was dry. The pour was dry and cured. She added the black and white. I mean, not the black and white. She added the transfer, and when the transfer was peeled, then she added the pigment with a brush in places of the shell to give it some shimmer. Some shading. Yeah, she painted them on to add some shimmer and some shading to the Nautilus. It was a Nautilus shell. So if you're looking for the video, people, it's the Nautilus shell. And Eileen posted it on Twitter for the fibs that follow. Yeah, well, I don't have any resin pigments and won't be getting any either. But you could almost do the same thing with Magicals and a little bit of gel medium and brush it on very easily. I'm going to get the same mica shimmer. You could use the color arts. Though Leslie claims you need to use her medium with her color art pigments. But I think that was as far as pouring goes. But you could also use the other pigments that a bunch of you have. Perfectly Pearls and some of those. The same idea. Like a glazing medium and some pigment, or some gel medium and a pigment. It depends what you mix them with. But yeah, I think they are too, but it depends how you mix them, what medium you mix them with. They have more pigment to them, probably. The other thing that would work probably fairly well, because it's very thin, is these. These are really thin and not very opaque, especially if you added a little bit of water to your brush or some extender. These are not very thick. The other thing that might work to give you a similar effect is some of this type of product. If you just want it shimmer. But yeah, I think that the Lindy's are a little more pigmented, but if you mix it, they can be the Magicals. If you don't put very much in it and you put more of the gel medium. Here, if we try, this is extender. And I'll just take some gold Magicals and add it to that extender. So you can barely see where I'm brushing it on color-wise. There's a little bit of a difference. There's a shimmer difference for sure. Yeah, the Pearl X, but that's the Lindy's. Let me try a stronger pigmented color. And this is extender that I'm using. That actually helped that pour. You might actually like it even. There's shimmer, which you probably can't see on camera. But it took all that Titan Buff, but you can still see the cells. So if you use the right product, your magicals will work. Without being too dark. This brush is awful. But that was magicals with extender or blending medium. That makes that pour look better, doesn't it? No, you're going to want the others, not flats, because if you're going to get flats, you might as well just get regular watercolor. The mica powders are in them is what's so pretty. Most of them are shimmers. There's only the flat sets are not as many. Alrighty. I thought about getting some of the color art pigments to add to watercolors, but yeah, I know you and Janet like the flats, but I like the pop of the mica that you get with them. In the shimmers. I like the mica, and it's hard to see. I like that little bit of mica powder that sits on them. And the other color that you'll get, like this was a turquoise with a turquoise. But sometimes you get a turquoise with a gold. But again, it just depends. If you don't like a lot of shimmer, like this one has some red and some copper color in it, and some turquoise and some green mica. I like them, but it's why the same reason I like the PBO paints and metallic paints. I like that metal and shimmer. two-tone duality that you get. Now, I've had sprays in the flats, and I liked those when I just bought the sprays, but it was like a turquoise flat. It was like a T-bird. Now, you know the Prismas are not as nice a watercolor that they're a student grade watercolor. So, you know, I wouldn't invest a whole lot in the Prismas. They make nice little travel or doing journals. And not sure about the light fast rating on these either. Oh, yeah, colored pencils. Yes, definitely. I'm thinking Prima, and you said Prisma. Yeah. Yeah. Look for the colored pencils at Christmas time. They do really good deals a lot of times on the sets around the holiday, right before the holiday. Sometimes there'll be like a special, like a daily deal, or if you put it like in your cart and save it for later, where you get the notifications if there's a price change. The Prismas are fine. So. All right, girls. All of those are in your cart. Yeah. I put everything on my list. I don't have anything in the cart. That way, if Bob goes in there, he doesn't accidentally buy something I don't want to spend money on. So, because we'll go into the same account. So if I put it in the cart, yeah, Amazon has good sales before the holidays. Between probably like Thanksgiving up till Christmas, you can get really good deals. Yeah, me too, Shauna. Because if you can like have it delivered in 2 days, I don't know that I want to go to the store and mess with it. All righty. Bye, guys.